Hello everyone, the Energy Club MNIT presents you the series of peer learning sessions. In this video, we're gonna have a look at the revolutions taking place in the energy storage methods. So these are the contents which we are going to cover in this video. Now, let's discuss what are the present scenario in the energy storage methods in the world. Let's get started. As the world is changing and we are shifting from the conventional energy sources to the renewable energy sources, there is still a problem that renewable sources aren't always available. Like the sun doesn't always shine and the wind doesn't always blow. So even if we have got a super abundance of electricity, we cannot totally use it. For renewable energy to truly compete with fossil fuels, we need to figure out a better way to store energy. Renewables are expected to grow an additional 50% over the next 5 years. Energy storage solutions allow energy to be stored during sunny and windy periods and be released when it is needed. For that, we need to have a good way to store energy for later and use as per our demand. The main option right now is lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion is the fastest growing and most promising battery chemistry. Though lithium-ion is dropping in price, it will remain too expensive for most of the grid-scale applications. Experts say that it requires further cost reduction up to 10 to 20 times for grid-scale application. So, why do we need alternative energy storage methods? Lithium-ion batteries just can't store more than 4 hours of worth of energy. They pose a fire risk. Their ability to hold charge fades over time. So, what are the other options we have? To address this problem, there are a group of entrepreneurs and researchers experimenting with a different variety of solutions. These are flow batteries, which are kind of liquid batteries, and some other forms of storage that aren't chemical or battery based storage, like gravity based system and thermal energy storage. Now, first comes the flow batteries. Unlike lithium-ion batteries, flow batteries store liquid electrolyte in external tanks, meaning the energy from the electrolyte and the actual source of power generation are decoupled. In lithium-ion, the electrolyte is stored within the battery itself. Here is a small demonstrative video about the working of flow battery. Have a look at it.
Wind turbines and solar panels are great sources of clean energy. But what happens if it's calm or cloudy? Flow batteries store power in liquid tanks. The bigger the tanks, the more energy they can store. Here's how they work. Two solutions, one negative, one positive, are pumped into the battery. The energy source charges the battery, pulling electrons from the positive solution, a process called oxidation, and pushing them into the negative solution, a process called reduction. When the battery turns on, the electron flow reverses, and it generates an electric current. Using non-toxic organic chemistry, Harvard researchers are building safer, cheaper flow batteries, moving us one step closer to a bright future lit by clean energy.
The major advantages of flow batteries are they don't pose a fire risk, they don't face issues of capacity fade over time. If their production is scaled up, their price will be competitive with lithium-ion batteries. Its chemistry may be varied, like some companies uses zinc bromide as an electrolyte, while other uses iron plus saline water. But still, they aren't designed to store energy for days or weeks. Also, this technology still suffers from fundamental material cost changes that makes them incapable of getting tens and hundreds of hours of energy storage capacity. Second comes gravity-based systems. A US-based company named Energy Vault inspired by the concept of pumped hydro. In addition to that, 90% of the world storage comes from the pumped hydro method presently. But this method has challenges like they requires a lot of land, disrupts the environment, they are very much geographically specific. So the company Energy Vault, founded in 2017, came up with their idea which is more environmental, low cost and something which can be brought to market very easily. So how does it work? It basically converts electrical energy to gravitational potential energy, then back to electrical energy when needed, without any degradation in energy. Instead of moving water, Energy Vault uses cranes and wires to move 35 tons bricks ups and down depending upon the energy needs. A system tower crane utilizes excess solar and wind energy to drive motors and generators that lift and stack the brick in a very specific sequence. Whenever energy is needed, just discharge the energy by lowering the bricks. Some of its advantages are: it is sized for utility scale operation. Standard installation of 20 towers gives 350 megawatt of storage capacity, which is around powering 40,000 homes for 24 hours. Energy can be recovered or last for 30 plus years without any degradation. Its limitation is just that it can't be installed in a city due to its bigger size, and due to its sheer size, it can't be replacement for a chemical battery. Now third comes thermal energy storage. It has potential to store energy for longer than flow batteries with a smaller footprint than gravity-based systems. When there is excess electricity on the grid, that is used to heat up the cheap carbon blocks which are insulated inside a container. What we need is to convert that heat energy back to electricity whenever needed using some special kind of heat engine, because it will be difficult using conventional heat engines as their efficiency is low, so ultimately that energy would be wasted. So a special type of heat engine is developed called thermophotovoltaic TPV heat engine. It is basically a solar cell. Instead of capturing sunlight and converting that to electricity, this solar cell captures light radiated from the hot storage medium and converts that to electricity. Here is a flow chart demonstrating its working. Here comes the storage capacity of all the methods discussed earlier. Thank you.